Execs are concerned that Jojo Rabbit will alienate Disney fans. That is the headline on this week's MB Movie News.
Yes, Stephen, this article is coming in from Screen Rant, but the actual report itself is going back to Variety, who detailed that the very first Jojo Rabbit screenings for the Disney higher-ups allegedly drew concern. Apparently there was one executive in particular, they say Mouse House executive, who grew audibly uncomfortable watching the movie. They're feeling like the approach for the movie may prove to be a little too edgy for Disney demographics. What is your thoughts on this, Stephen, before I dive in and perhaps give a little rant about what
I would say nonsense, John, but I've not seen the film myself, so I can't really comment on that. Based on the trailer, and if you go onto YouTube, I don't think there's any of the reaction videos actually painting in a bad sort of light.
No.
In fact, it's all laugh out loud moments. But that's not to say the film's going to be like that, but I think it's a bit of overreaction. I think it's this whole image thing again with the studio, concerned on certain areas, of the studio that they're just took control of. Fox Searchlight, I believe it is.
Yes.
It only takes one, and then the news is out. That it's there's a bit of concern. This is where we're at, I'm afraid. Certainly in Hollywood, where everything's got to be beige, can't offend anyone. Even I don't think a lot of people, certainly this exec, this one that was audibly uncomfortable, doesn't get satire. It clearly doesn't get satire. I can imagine the likes of Death of Stalin being a no-no for this person. Easily offended. You've got to take it for what it is. It's actually based on a novel, Cajun Skies, John. Jojo Rabbit tells the story of Jojo Belzer, a Hitler youth who discovers his mother's hiding a young Jewish girl, and this character, Jojo, whose closet companion is an imaginary friend, a fictionalised version of Adolf Hitler. We got that from the trailer. Yeah. I thought it was a very intriguing, very interesting concept. Something I don't think anybody could have thought of other than the person that wrote this novel, and I'm very intrigued by it. I'll give it a shot. I'll certainly watch it because the trailer just pulled me right in. Didn't know anything about it till I think it was yourself, John. It says you've got to see this. I've got to react to this one, and it was one of the funniest trailers I've seen this year.
Yeah, Stephen, I recall hearing about this movie 6-7 months ago. I heard that Taika was doing this satirical story about Adolf Hitler being an imaginary friend for this young Hitler youth guy, that he himself was going to be taking on the role of Adolf Hitler, and also him being a Polynesian Jew. That just got me intrigued right away. This guy has got such a great sense of humour. You look at all of his movies, like What We Do in the Shadows, I think it was. That was an incredible, one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, Stephen. For Ragnarok, that blend of humour. Hunt for the Wilder People, it's just got a very unique sort of style in directing. He's got a unique sense of humour, and you mix that with satire and just the ultimate butt of the joke that is the Third Reich and the Nazis. Ridiculous.
But do you agree, John? Do you think it's a Disney concern for their image more than anything?
Oh yeah, absolutely, Stephen. They're way too sensitive. They feel like every single movie has to be shoehorned into a specific demographic. Sugar-coated to hit all the widest spectrum of demographics it can possibly hit, so they can also reap the financial benefits and bring in as much money as possible. But not every single movie has to be PG-13, has to be seen by every single demographic that goes along to theatres. Some movies are different. They get to be for adults only. They can be rated R, like Deadpool. In this case, I don't know what the actual rating for this movie is. I presume it's probably got a decent... I don't think it would be above PG-13.
I was going to say it's possibly a PG-13.
PG-13. I think it's just the nature of the movie, Stephen, the subject matter. I'm slightly concerned that perhaps it will alienate Disney fans, traditional fans, but as I says to you, Stephen, that shouldn't be the case at all, because this is Fox Searchlight, who are a fantastic production company, studio within a greater studio setup. They've got so many successful movies, Oscar-winning movies, movies that have traditions of going for Oscars in the award season. They have their own thing going on, separate to Disney, under the greater Disney umbrella. I don't understand why this is an issue, but Stephen, this goes back to previous reports as well, of after the flopping of X-Men Dark Phoenix. That it cost the studio obviously $200 million, Disney, and that they were cancelling all of the forthcoming Fox slate of movies that were scheduled to come out, and that they were moving the comic book movies under the Fox, obviously name,
well, there was
to Kevin Feige.
Under the New Mutants.
And Stephen, incidentally, I've just been searching that up, and they're not happy with the New Mutants, Disney. So it looks as though that may not see the light of day.
The funny thing was, when this film, I think it was one of the early trailers, was portraying it very much in the style of an X-Men film, but with elements of horror. Then we got news that came out maybe about 6 months ago that they were going full horror on this. Then obviously the takeover happened. It looks like they're not going to go full horror at all on it now. Yeah,
Stephen, I think the more we're seeing of this Disney-Fox merger, I think the more we're seeing it could be a disaster for movie-going fans, not just fans of the MCU
and the projects, John, as well.
Just the amount of great projects which we would have seen, which would have been different to what we see from Disney. Disney have such a monopoly on movies and Hollywood and whatnot, and just the I think they say it's a 4-quadrant sort of a movie slate they have, where they like to make money from the widest array of demographics possible throughout the 4 quarters of the year. Fox were different, they did slightly different movies. They had Fox Searchlight doing their thing, very sometimes serious tones, sometimes satirical, great little satirical movies like this. And you need to maintain that going forward. You can't just have every single movie being buttered down, sugar coated, watered down I should say, not buttered down, sugar coated movies which can tick all the boxes for 8-year-olds all the way up to 80-year-olds. Sometimes you need to have that variety. It's a spice of life after all. I think this is ridiculous. I think it's a complete overreaction. I hope obviously Fox Searchlight have some control on what happens with this movie. Hopefully they don't try and water it down, cut some things out, and Taika's get a bit of sway as well, because he is such a respected guy within the MCU side of things under Feige with Thor. Obviously he's directing a new Thor film for Love and Thunder. So hopefully he holds enough sway that you can say, no, this isn't changing, this is my vision for the movie and I'm keeping it this way. So hopefully it'll not change, because I love the trailer. I was laughing my head off. I think it looks incredible. It's got all of his little stylistic flares and touches, and it just looks incredible. I love the period, and I love them mocking the Nazis, because
I think that's the essence of the film, John. If you take that away, then what is the point of the film?
Exactly.
You know, you're just going to have some kind of boring, trying to be funny type film, but I hope they don't. But we'll move on, John. This is Disney related as well. The studio unveils its first look at live-action Lady and the Tramp reboot. Now, this actually was, I think it was Good Morning America's Twitter account that shared this, what they call super cute look at the two pups. And I mean, we knew this was coming to the streaming channel, John. What I didn't know too much about was obviously the cast. We knew Tessa Thompson was going to voice, I think it was Lady, and Justin Theroux is going to voice the character Tramp. But the ones I didn't know about was Benedict Wong is in there, our very own Ashley Jensen's in there, Sam Elliott and Janelle Monáe, who is going to be singing the Siamese Cat song.
Yes, the famous racist Siamese Cat song, apparently, Stephen. There was racial undertones or racist undertones in there. It's been that long since I've seen the movie. I was a big fan of it growing up. I remember watching it constantly on a loop with all the other Disney movies. But it's been a while. I'm 30 years old now, so I've not watched the original Lady and the Tramp in well over 20 years, Stephen. But it's intriguing that they've got Janelle Monáe in there. I think she's a fantastic actress. We've seen her in Hidden Figures. She was in something else recently. But she's a very good actress. And again, it just highlights the array of talent that Disney can just hoover up for these movies. We've seen it with The Lion King, with Beyonce, Donald Glover, obviously Seth Rogen. I think it was Bill something, whose name eludes me at the moment, who played Timon, I think. So they've got this access to just every single Hollywood A-lister out there because of that endless pit of money they have. I'm intrigued as well to see the first photograph, Stephen. That's what it is, really. It's two dogs. They look similar enough. The one on the right, I believe, is Tramp.
Yeah, definitely.
It looks very much like Tramp. And the one on the left is obviously a lady who looks very much like Lady. There's not much more you can really add. But Stephen, what do you think of this movie? Do you think this movie will prove to be as successful as obviously Aladdin, The Lion King, Dumbo this year? Or do you think there is a reason why they have put this onto the Disney Plus streaming platform? Because we've seen so many dog movies over the last 3, 4, 5 years. You remember the memorable ones like Marley and Me and A Dog's Purpose and even her bird or whatnot, but you've got, 101 Dalmatians and Beethoven and some other lemons in there. And the main dog movies tend to flop. It's very difficult to get memorable performances out of real life canines, and obviously they are utilising real life dogs. One final thing that I'll add in before I throw you under the bus and let you in to answer that question, Stephen, is that it's cool to see that they utilise rescue dogs for this movie, and they have gave them 2 forever homes. So there's been so many horrendous stories about dogs in the movie industry. That's a nice touch. But do you think this will be a disaster, essentially?
No, I don't think it will, John. I think it will be successful for the platform it's on. No, of course, it's a different scenario. The ones you mentioned are cinematic releases, bigger audiences, bigger facilities to, obviously house these audiences as well. Disney Plus as well, subscription. A lot of people will be subscribing to that primarily in the US, not obviously over here at the minute, from what we hear. But I think it will have a mild success on the streaming platform. I'm looking forward to it. Like yourself, John, I enjoyed The Lion King. I liked the technique they used. It didn't really bother me that much. The mouth was more humanised than it should have been for lions. It's going to probably be the same. I don't know if they're using the same technique or not.
I think they're using real life dogs in this one, Stephen, which is why it's dodgy.
What I mean is for the movement of the mouse.
Possibly. I was wondering that.
That might be a little bit.
I was thinking that when I looked at the photograph.
Yeah,
I was wondering how they'd utilise the dog's mouse.
But it's a great story, and I think as well that because the film's that old, as you said, it's been a long time since you saw the animated film. It's certainly been about maybe 30 years since I've saw the animated film. For this generation, they're not going to really know too much about The Lady and the Tramp, I'm afraid. It is a very famous story, but I think for this generation, your 6, 7, 8-year-olds, it's not something that they'll relate to.
I just wonder, Stephen, whether with us not receiving Disney Plus this year, perhaps not till next year, we may see a minor theatrical release for this in the United Kingdom.
Perhaps, never thought of that,
That's a strange one. Perhaps it won't. We'll just have to wait. I don't know. I didn't realise we were putting out a high school musical spin-off show for the Disney Plus streaming service as well. They've got it all going on, Stephen. But we
certainly have, John. But we'll move on to our next article. This is it's all about a certain controversial Bruce Lee scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Quentin Tarantino defends his decision on the character Brad Pitt plays.
Cliff Booth.
I don't really know if I want to get into spoilers here because the film's actually just came out here in the UK today, as this is recording. What I can say is that a lot of people, certainly who've seen this movie, are not that happy with the handling of Bruce Lee and a certain sequence that he's involved in with Cliff Booth.
Yeah, Cliff Booth,
I got that right. I think it's fair to say that it doesn't really go the way that a lot of Bruce Lee fans would have liked it to have gone. This is what Quentin Tarantino did have to say. Bruce Lee was kind of an arrogant guy. The way he was talking, I didn't just make that a lot of that up. I heard him say things like that to the effect of people were saying, well, he never said he could beat up Muhammad Ali. Yeah, he did, all right. Not only did he say that, but his wife Linda Lee said that in her first biography I ever read. She's absolutely said that. And I think it's more important to stress that Quentin Tarantino is a massive Bruce Lee fan. Paid homage to him obviously in the first Kill Bill film with Uma Thurman's tracksuit.
Yeah, Stephen, he further goes on to obviously justify his choice for this movie.
Yeah.
As I did say, as you said, we don't really want to delve into this because there is minor spoilers in there. I certainly haven't seen the movie yet, but I don't care about this particular scene being spoiled, Stephen. Again, this just strikes me as being precious little petals, little fairies getting upset and their knickers in a twist over just the most mundane crap. As he does say in this second paragraph, Cliff Booth is a fictional character created in his unique universe. There is apparently another scene at the end of the movie which utilises creative, what would you call it? I can't recall what the name is, but essentially he's changing history slightly. He's altering the timeline by making something happen that didn't happen in real life. I know what it's about. I've not seen the movie, but I'm pretty damn sure what he's done.
Yeah.
And again, it's the same here, Stephen. He's perfectly entitled to make any character within this universe, which is fictional, as strong, as talented in martial arts as he can. As he does say, he's a Green Beret, a former Green Beret. He's killed many men in World War II in hand-to-hand combat. This guy has been around the block. He knows how to fight. He has a little moment, a little fracas with Bruce Lee in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it, but it doesn't beat him. I don't think that's a spoiler. It doesn't beat him, but he doesn't win either.
But did you not get that from the trailer anyway? That the Cliff Booth character seemed to handle himself against this Bruce Lee character.
Yeah.
That's certainly what I got from the trailer anyway, John. And I think I actually said in the reaction, or I reacted, I went, oh, come on. But at the end of the day, yeah, Tarantino's right. It's a fictional character. If it's Brad Pitt going up against the real Bruce Lee, I think we know the outcome of that.
And he says it.
Yeah, and I think Brad Pitt actually, to be fair to him, voiced his concerns over the decision of the outcome of this fight as well. So fair play to him.
Yeah, well, apparently Tarantino wanted it to go a specific way, and Brad Pitt stepped in and says, come on, this is Bruce Lee, we can't have that. And then he's made some creative changes. So that's cool to see that, even although he is quite particular about the way he likes his movies written, obviously, and he wants them played out the way he's done it on his obviously script.
Yeah.
But he is open to some suggestions in there. Stephen, look, I think the main criticism is from, I think it was Bruce Lee's daughter who criticised the arrogant take on the character. Yeah. She felt like he was portrayed a little bit too arrogant, too cocky. But as Tarantino does say, Quentin does say, I should say, he did have a bit of arrogance about him. You have to.
To be fair to both sides here, John, Tarantino's view on Bruce Lee is what we all saw, The Showman, and when he was on interviews, he was always performing, this persona. Shannon, his daughter, on the other hand, saw him as a father, which he was obviously, but at that more gentle side of him, not the showman. He wasn't performing in front of an audience or in front of the cameras. So I can see it from both sides, but I think Tarantino's right in this case. I think it's a fictional character and he can do what he wants. He created the character, so who's to judge him on his character's abilities?
Absolutely, Stephen, and as you did say, we only have that particular viewpoint of Bruce Lee over the years. The man's been dead a long time, and you have to have a bit of arrogance, as I did say, Stephen, to beat the shit out of 5-6 people who storm your gym, unhappy about you teaching the ways of whatever
the Western world.
Western world, people. You have to have that arrogance about you. If you can do it and then say, I didn't beat them up quick enough, I have to work on my cardio, that's a bit of arrogance. So look, I can't wait to see the movie. I can't wait to see this sequence. I thought the guy nailed Bruce Lee's mannerisms, the look. I just can't wait. So I've not got much more to add on that.
There's another film, John, you might be looking forward to, or maybe not. But I think after this news, I'm kind of swaying now. We did a report on this in the podcast days, John, when this news first came out, that Eddie Murphy was considering doing a sequel to the 1987 film Coming to America. Well, it's happening, because Coming to America is coming out, and we've got an update on the cast list. As we know, Eddie Murphy is coming back as Prince Hakeem. That was a no-brainer.
Yes.
Arsenio Hall back as Semi. Shari Headley's back as Lisa McDowell, obviously his bride. John Amos playing Cleo McDowell. John Amos was one of my favourite actors from the 1980s, John. I saw him on a talk show earlier this week. It was an American talk show, can't remember what one it was. And he's up for it. He gets on greatly with Eddie Murphy, says he's one of the most friendliest, funniest guys he's ever been around, and he's on board. James Earl Jones is back as King Jaffe Joffer. Wouldn't be the same without James Earl Jones, John. And just coming in, Vanessa Bell Calloway as Manny Izzy. Well, this was obviously the jilted bride. I kind of feel sorry for her, but she's back.
What a sequence that was, Steve.
It was excellent.
Dancing.
She was so funny as well, and fair play to her for barking like a dog and jumping on one leg and stuff like that. Wesley Snipes is going to be playing General Easy. Now it's reported that he is playing the son of the father to the jilted bride, so that would obviously be her brother.
Intrigues me, Stephen, that name.
It's going to be interesting to see that character and his relationship with Prince Hakeem. There's obviously going to be issues there for what he did, because you never think, obviously, of these scenarios, what happens you know, after the film's end. That's probably something that we could maybe talk about, John. Characters, where did they go after the film ends?
It's a classic sort of a show you could make up
but
about
there's also other ones coming in here that I'm not too familiar with. You may know them more than me, John. We've got Leslie Jones in there.
I'm not
She's
hugely familiar
allegedly
with her.
playing the mother of Lavelle, Prince Akeem's long lost son.
Oh right, yeah, we heard that. That was what the plot was going to be. Yeah, his son the long lost son who pops up in America, and they have to go over and try and retrieve him and bring him back. So it's look, Stephen, the premise is there. I don't know whether it will work in terms of. Also, that was very much of its time.
Yeah.
Will that transition well over the 21st century? I don't know. I know Eddie has got another movie out just now. It's ready to come out. Dolomite Is My Name. This is his comeback.
That's the Netflix one.
This is the Netflix one prior to obviously Come to America, which interestingly, I love that name.
Yeah.
I think that's incredible, the way they're putting the two in the middle. So perhaps if I get a chance to look at that and see how he's doing in that, then that will maybe foreshadow what we're going to see in Coming to America.
A resurgence of Eddie Murphy. Certainly is, because there is news of Beverly Hills Cop 4 coming out as well, John. The third one wasn't that great. First and second one were some of the best action comedy films of the 1980s, but that third one, 1994 I think it was, just kind of jumped the shark for me. But it's very interesting to see. It's good to see Eddie Murphy back as well. Yeah. It's been a long time. Was a favourite of his films over, you know, good 2 decades at least. He was just knocking them out of the park, you know, one after the other. And then obviously what happens with most of these comedy actors, they do have that dip in form. We see it at the likes of Chevy Chase, Jim Carrey, Steve Martin, Adam Sandler. So they do have that sort of time period where they're very successful and they don't really do anything wrong. I hope in the case of Eddie Murphy that this certainly this Netflix film, John, seems intriguing enough. And I'm actually starting to come around to this idea of Coming to America now. I think maybe I'd have to listen back to our audio shows to see my reaction, because I thought it was a terrible idea. But then again, I thought Rocky Balboa, the 2005 film, was a terrible idea as well. It's one of my favourite Rocky films, so what do I know? Stephen,
I sincerely hope it's a success. The Coming to America, as you know, is one of my favourite Eddie Murphy movies. I love it. I love the Randy Watson. I always say something else. I think it's Randy Moss, which is completely wrong. Randy Watson, Sexual Chocolate. It's one of the all-time great sequences, and that sort of a genre from that time period. And also the nightclub sequence as well, when he's going out and trying to find a bride.
No mention of Darryl coming back.
No mention of Darryl. I hope he's in there for a short cameo. And we get some update on Solo. What's happened? Has it been out of business?
Yeah.
I sincerely hope not. But Stephen, Kiki Lane as well. Yeah. Coming in, Kiki Lane. I watched, obviously, If Beale Street Could Talk. She was one of the primary characters in that, or actresses in that. And she was absolutely incredible as this young woman who had been left wrongfully. Her husband had been incarcerated wrongfully because of a racist cop and just the justice system over in the States at that time. She played a magnificent role in that movie, so she is a really, really good actress. She's going to be playing the daughter of Prince Akeem apparently, so very intrigued by that. Jermaine Fowler from Sorry to Bother You, another really good actress. They're assembling a mighty impressive cast, Stephen. But what's really intrigued me when you were reading through the different characters, Wesley Snipes' character, the concept that he is playing a General Easy who will be the leader of a neighbouring African nation. Could we see perhaps him being like a sort of a Robert Mugabe figure, where he's maybe a bit of a tyrannical dictator, and he's obviously jilted, his sister's been the jilted bride, so could there be brewing obviously hatred in there between those two, and we'll see this playing out. I think there's real scope there for hilarity. I can't wait to see Wesley Snipes back. Maybe I've just been missing out in these movies, but it's been a long time since I've seen that guy, and he's a really, really good actor as well. So I hope it's a success. The premise is there. Hopefully Eddie can reignite some of that magic from the late 80s into the early 90s. He was one of the funniest guys in the world, if not the funniest. And if it all comes together and we get lightning in a bottle, perhaps this may even be better than the original, Stephen. Yeah, hopefully my T-shirt will be in there as well, John. But listen, we'll finish off the show with an article coming from Cinema Blend. This is the time that Sylvester Stallone threw flowers at Arnold Schwarzenegger at the Golden Globes. This was the 1977 Golden Globes. And there's a video, it's Variety, it's on their YouTube channel. And just to cut a long story short, I think this was his first meeting with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I think Arnold was kind of egging him on because I think Rocky was up for some awards, obviously. Seven Golden Globes, and
obviously he lost, most of them. He was a runner-up, and I think Arnold was goading him a little bit, pulling faces at him, hard luck, and I think this was winding Sly up a little. He did win for Best Picture, obviously, and he got his own back by throwing a big bowl of flowers in the direction of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He is a brave man.
He is a brave man, Stephen, and a very strong man as well.
Yeah.
Picking up a big, massive bowl of flowers. He said tulips and all. I'd love to have seen that picture.
Yeah,
it's a real shame that we don't have video footage of that particular ceremony. I says when we watched the interview prior to the show, Stephen, that it strikes me as being strange because it's very prestigious, the Golden Globes, but it isn't really compared to the Oscars. It's more let your hair down. Kind of like the movie equivalent.
Gervais did it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the movie equivalent to the Brits over here, where they just get tore into food, drink themselves into an oblivion and all shit. Usually, all hell usually breaks loose. And as you did say, Ricky Gervais famously obviously hosting, I think, 4.
Yes.
Just tearing that room apart.
Yep.
So it's all set there, the occasion's all set, alcohol aplenty, big eels, and then obviously old Arnold boy, that strange big Arnie noising them up.
It shows you the insecurities of actors though at times, certainly when Sylvester Stallone agreed to do Stop or My Mum Will Shoot because he was that panicked into it by his agent, I think it was, that Arnold Schwarzenegger was going to do it. I can imagine Arnold's face. Absolutely killing himself that he...
The fact that Arnold was up for it, seen the script, thought it was terrible,
and
then says, I'm going to kid on that I really want this movie to obviously goad Stallone into taking the movie role on.
Exactly.
Incredible.
Best friends now.
Best friends.
I think they've been mutual sort of business partners through the years with obviously Planet Hollywood with Bruce Willis, but I think now they can look back on it and think, it was a friendly rivalry. Certainly wasn't in the 1977 Golden Globes.
Well, Stephen, look, the final thing I'll say is just the legacy of these two guys, two of the all-time great action stars.
Yeah.
They have laid the foundations for what we see today with Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham and guys like that.
Yep.
To a lesser extent, Vin Diesel and stuff like that. They were real pioneers of their time. Some of the movies that were in, the likes of, as you did say, Commando, Terminator. I don't know if you did say Commando, I'm saying it though. No. Commando, Terminator, Rambo, all of these great movies from that period. I love the two guys, and I'm glad to see they're good friends now, because it's a real shame they were still egging each other on to do terrible movie roles.
A bit sad, but
moved on from it now.
We'll end on that note, John. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us on this week's MBE Movie News, and we'll be back again tomorrow with the blog rundown.